Hello everyone, how are you all? Have you ever wondered how the organs interact with each other? The organs in the body work like a team, and to work like a team, they have to communicate with each other, right? So, in this video, we will decode or we will understand the communication pattern of the organs in our body. In this video, we will understand about how the lungs interact with the other organs. In brief, we will also understand the imbalance symptoms and acupuncture points for the patterns. Now, in this image seen on the screen, a team is playing a game. This is a game of softball. All the players are positioned and have their part in the field. Some are positioned at the outer field and some are positioned at the inner field. They are positioned in such a way so that they can catch the ball. Playing a game and winning a game requires a teamwork. And the same way, the human body also requires a teamwork to keep the body alive and healthy. And for the teamwork, communication is required. So it all begins with communication, without which there can't be a teamwork. Similarly, communication among the organ system is vital if they are to work as a team. Teamwork among organ systems allow the human organization to work like a finely tuned machine. Also, communication between the organs is important for the physical and mental well being of a person because the function of the organs are interconnected. In TCM, yin and yang theory and the five elements are the two theories which are the basic properties to understand the pathological changes and diseases in the body. In a human body, each and every organ is interconnected and has a mutual relationship. It is when the relationship between the organs fall out of balance is when health issues arise. So let us understand the relationship of lungs with other organs and also understand the function of lungs and how the lungs interact with the other organs. Now, lungs are considered the most vital organs in TCM. It is associated with the metal element, and lungs play a crucial role in the body's energy, that is, a chi, and the overall health of a person. So, now let us understand the functions of lungs. The first function of lungs is that it governs the chi and respiration. Lungs dominate the overall chi of the body. It maintains an unobstructed circulation of chi around the body. Now, chi is essential for life. Just like petrol is needed for a car to function and move, similarly, chi is a petrol of our body. It is a flow of energy without which the body can't function. The lungs extract pure chi from the air and combines it with the chi from food to form zong chi, which gives power to the body. Now, what is zong chi? Zong chi is a type of chi in the body responsible for keeping organs and structures warm and maintain a normal physiological function. It is formed from the combination of the inhaled fresh air that we take in from the environment and the nutrients from the food. This chi supports breathing, it supports the energy levels and the movement of chi throughout the body. So, when the lung chi is weak, symptoms include shortness of breath, fatigue, weak voice, and spontaneous sweating. The second function of lungs is it controls the skin and the body hair. The lungs regulate the Wei Qi, which is also called the defensive Qi, which protects the body from external pathogens and also influences the skin and the pores. Now, Wei Qi is circulated by the lungs to protect the body from external pathogens. The skin and the body hair attain their nourishment through the lungs. The lungs in our body regulate sweat glands and pores, which control the body's ability to release and retain fluids. So, weak lungs or weak function of lungs can lead to dry skin, excessive sweating, or vulnerability to external pathogen. Means the body becomes vulnerable to external pathogens. The next function of lungs is it regulates the water passages. The lungs distribute fluids throughout the body and helps eliminate excess water through urine and sweat. The lungs regulate water passages by circulating body fluids and controlling the metabolism of water in the body. This also involves definitely excretion and urination. So, a dysfunction in lungs function may result in water retention, painful or absent urination. The lungs take care of the proper distribution of fluids by sending pure fluids upward to moisten the skin and the impure fluids downwards to the kidney and bladder to flush out. Now, if the function is impaired, there can be accumulation of phlegm. We can also see edema or even dryness can occur. Next, the lungs are connected to the nose and the throat. The lungs control breathing and are associated with the nose and sinuses and the voice. The lungs also control the sense of smell. So, weak or imbalanced lung function can cause nasal congestion, allergies, loss of smell, or sinus infection. The next function of the lungs is it houses the Po, which is a corporeal soul. Po is one of the five spiritual aspects of an individual. Po, which is a corporeal soul, is related to the metal element and it resides in lungs. Po is considered the life force of the body. It is responsible for instinctive reactions and physical sensations. It is closely related to grief and sadness. Actually, Po is affected by all emotions, but especially grief and sadness affects it the most. So, lung imbalances can cause grief, sadness, or a feeling of disconnection. Another function of lung is that it controls the dispersing and descending of qi. In the dispersing function, the lungs distribute Wei Qi, which I just spoke about. It is a defensive Qi, and body fluids to the skin and the muscles to regulate immunity and prevent external pathogens from entering. Weak dispersing function can lead to frequent colds, spontaneous sweating, or dry skin. In the descending function, the lungs send Qi downwards to help the kidneys grasp it. Now, if this function is impaired, if this function is not happening, symptoms like coughing, wheezing, and breathlessness can occur. Now, these were the functions of lungs. Now, one by one, we will see lungs' relationship with the other organs. So, let us start with the lungs' relationship with spleen. Now, this is the location of spleen in the body, and this is the location of lungs in the body. The lungs belong to the metal element and spleen belongs to the earth element. So this is the metal and earth connection. How do they interact? Well, the spleen produces qi, which is gu qi from food, which is called as gu qi, and which is produced from the food. This qi is sent to the lungs to create zong qi, which is called as gathering qi, for breathing and circulation. The lungs use this qi to maintain respiration and send fluids downwards to nourish the body. Now, if the spleen is weak, it cannot provide enough qi and fluid to the lungs, leading to lung qi deficiency and dryness. The lungs regulate water metabolism while the spleen transforms and transports fluids. So, if the spleen is weak, what will happen? It can lead to dampness and phlegm accumulating in the lungs. Now let us understand some imbalance symptoms. So the first pattern would be if the spleen is weak, if the spleen qi is weak, it will lead to lung qi being weak. Now this is the first pattern. Here the spleen fails to generate enough qi for the lungs, which weakens the respiration. The symptoms would be chronic cough, weak digestion, and fatigue, and also weak voice. The next pattern would be if there is dampness in the spleen, there will be phlegm formation in the lungs. And the symptoms would be phlegm related asthma, chronic bronchitis, and even bloating. What should be the treatment focus? So, the treatment focus should be to strengthen the spleen so that it supports the lung qi. And the second should be that it should resolve dampness and phlegm. So these are some common acupuncture points. LU9, we can use LU9. LU9 will strengthen the lung qi. We can use spleen 3, which will boost the spleen function. And we can use stomach 40, which will clear the phlegm and dampness. We can also add spleen 6. Now this point will improve digestion and support the energy production. It will tonify the spleen qi. We can also add stomach 36. Now, stomach 36 will boost the digestion, which will prevent damp accumulation. It will strengthen the spleen and promote qi. We can also add lungs 1. Now, this point will clear the phlegm. It will relieve the chest congestion and open the breathing. We can also add SP9. Now, SP9 will resolve the dampness. It will help drain excess fluids and prevent phlegm buildup. Now, we will understand the relationship of lungs with kidneys. The lungs belong to metal element and the kidneys belong to water element. So, this is a metal and water connection. How do they interact? Well, the lungs send chi downward and the kidneys grasp it. Why? To anchor breathing. Now, this is essential for deep inhalation, for deep breathing. Now, if the kidney chi is weak, it fails to anchor lung chi, which causes shortness of breath or asthma. The next way they interact is the lungs control the fluids while the kidneys regulate water metabolism. Now the kidneys filter and redistributes fluids and sends pure fluids back up to the lungs for moisture. I'll just repeat myself. The kidneys basically filter and redistributes the fluids and sends the pure fluids up to the lungs for moisture. So, if the balance is disturbed, it can lead to dryness because of deficiency or edema or phlegm formation because of excess fluids. Now, what would be the imbalanced symptoms of the lungs and the kidneys relationship? The first pattern would be that if the kidney chi is weak, the lungs chi will not be able to hold the chi, which will result in shortness of breath, asthma, weak voice, chronic lung diseases. The second pattern would be if the lung chi is weak, the kidney yang will also become weak. And if the kidney yang is weak, the person may find the symptoms like edema, cold limbs, and difficulty in urinating. The treatment focus should be on strengthening the kidney chi so that it can grasp the lung chi and boost the lung chi to support respiration. These are some acupuncture points. LU7, that is lung 7, this will strengthen the lung and kidney connection. Kidney 3, this will boost kidney chi and kidney yin. Urinary bladder 23, this will strengthen the kidney yang. We can also add lung 9. Now, this will strengthen the lung chi, which will promote or which will help the chi to descend. We can also add CV6, that is conception vessel 6. This will strengthen the kidney chi to grasp the lung chi. We can also add governing vessel 4, which will warm the kidney yang and prevent fluid retention. Now we will see the relationship of lungs and heart. Lungs belong to metal element and heart belongs to fire element. Now this is a metal and fire connection. How do they interact? Well, the heart governs blood circulation and the lungs control chi. See, what happens is the chi moves the blood and the blood nourishes the chi. So it is interconnected. So if the lung chi is weak, it cannot push blood leading to poor circulation. And if the heart is weak, it cannot send blood to nourish the lungs, which will cause breathlessness. It can also lead to insomnia, palpitation, and dry cough. The pattern of imbalances would be the first one, heart. If the heart yin is deficient, the lung yin will be deficient, which will lead to dry cough, night sweats, palpitations, and insomnia. The second pattern will be if the lung chi is weak, the heart blood circulation will also be weak, which will lead to fatigue, pale complexion, weak pulse, and the person will get easily tired because the lungs fail to push chi effectively, leading to poor blood circulation. The heart then struggles to pump blood, causing palpitations and weaknesses. Then, where should be our treatment focus? Our treatment focus should be to nourish yin so that it calms the heart and moistens the lungs and strengthen the chi for better circulation. Now, the acupuncture points that you can use are lung 9, which will boost the lung chi and the blood circulation. Heart 7, which will calm the mind and strengthen the heart. Pericardium 6, which will regulate the heart and lung connection. We can also add heart 5. Now, this point will strengthen the heart chi. It will reduce palpitation and improve circulation. We can also add stomach 36. Now, this will boost chi and digestion, It will also improve the overall energy and blood flow. We can also add CV17, which will strengthen the chi in the chest and it will support heart and lungs interaction. We can also add kidney 6, which will strengthen the yin and it will hydrate the lungs and relieve night sweats. We can also add conception vessel 4. This will tonify the yin. It will strengthen the deep yin reserves. The next relationship that we will see is between the lungs and the liver. Lung belongs to metal element and liver belongs to wood element. So this is a metal and wood connection. How do they interact? Well, the liver ensures smooth chi flow. That means it ensures that the chi is flowing smoothly, while the lungs control chi and respiration. If the liver chi stagnates, it can obstruct lung chi, which will cause chest tightness and emotional stress leading to breathing issues. Now let us check the imbalance symptoms. The first pattern would be if the liver chi stagnates, the lung chi will also stagnate. Means it will obstruct lung chi, causing breathing difficulties, stress induced asthma, sighing, and emotional distress. The second pattern would be liver fire will lead to heat in the lungs or lung dryness. Excess liver heat will dry the lung yin, which will lead to dry cough, red face, irritability, and anger. It will also lead to dizziness, brittle nails, and insomnia. The focus should be to soothe the liver chi so that it can unblock the lung chi and also clear the excess liver fire which is affecting the lungs. These are the points that we can use. Now, these are the common points. We can use lung 1, which will open the chest and which will free the lung chi. We can use liver 3, which will soothe the liver chi. And we can use gallbladder 34, which will regulate the chi flow. We can also add lung 7, which will help smooth the breathing and release the chest tightness. Actually, it will help to descend the lung chi. We can also add liver 2, which will clear the liver fire, which will reduce the heat and soothe the dry throat and cough. We can also add SP6, which will nourish the liver blood and which will help moisten the lungs and improve the circulation. Next, we will understand the relationship of large intestine with the lungs. Lungs and large intestine, they both belong to metal element. So this is a metal and metal connection. How do they interact? The lungs govern the chi and respiration, while the large intestine eliminates waste. Now, if the lungs are weak, chi cannot descend, leading to constipation. Because the lungs descend the chi, which helps the large intestine move the waste downwards for elimination. If the large intestine is blocked, it can cause toxins to affect the lungs, which will lead to skin issues like eczema and acne, which will also lead to respiratory issues. The large intestine eliminates toxins, which prevents accumulation that could affect the lungs, for example, phlegm and congestion. So, if there is a blockage in the large intestine, there can be formation of phlegm and congestion. Also, weak lung chi leads to sluggish bowel movement, while large intestine stagnation can cause lung issues such as cough, mucus buildup, or skin problems. The pattern of imbalance would be first, if the lung chi is stagnated, the large intestine will become weak, which will lead to constipation and difficulty in passing stool or dry stools. The next pattern would be if there is toxicity in the large intestine, there will be certain lung issues, which will lead to eczema, chronic allergies, or acne. Another pattern would be if there is dryness in the large intestine, it will affect the lungs. Now, this results in dry cough, dry mouth, difficulty in expelling the mucus. The next pattern would be if there is heat in the lungs, it will affect the large intestine. When the lungs overheat, they dry up the fluids in the large intestine, leading to constipation and dry stools. The heat also affects the blood circulation, causing symptoms like nosebleeds and red face. Now, this is common in people who smoke or eat spicy foods excessively. This would result in burning sensation in the chest or throat, irritability, restlessness, red face, and feeling hot or constipation. The treatment focus should be to strengthen the lung chi so that it can help the bowel movement and clear the toxins from the large intestine so that the lungs are benefited. These are some points that we can apply. LU7 it will help to move the lung chi downward. Li4, it will clear the heat and promote the bowel movement. St25, it will regulate the large intestine. Urinary bladder 25, it will strengthen the function of the large intestine and it will also improve the peristalsis movement. We can also add CV6, conception vessel 6, it will strengthen the chi. We can also add stomach 36, it will tonify the chi and the yin. We can also add spleen 6, it will moisten the fluids. We can also add Li11, it will clear the heat. We can also add spleens 9, which will eliminate the dampness. We can also add lung 5, which will clear the lung heat. And we can also add stomach 37, which will move the bowels. The lungs are primarily connected to spleen, kidney, heart, liver, and large intestine. However, they also have indirect but important interaction with the other organs, that which we will see in the upcoming videos. Thank you for watching. God bless.